Okay, so you started doing the content, and
Yep.
then what transpired from there? And obviously, you're active duty as well, and so you're trying to do this at odd hours, early mornings when obviously when you're in Ranger school, you're not checking email, things like that. So I'd love to hear more about how you balanced it as well.
I started the content when I got to Texas, because obviously when I was in Georgia, there was just no time to create content. I mean, Ranger School, for example, was a 61-day course. I was there for 145 days because I failed 2 phases. So I was in and out of the field for that entire year when I was in Georgia. When I got to Texas, at the time, the unit that I was assigned to was in Germany they had like 3 months left on their rotation. So I got stationed at Fort Hood, and pretty much my schedule for 3 months was go check in, accountability formation. If there was nothing to do, they'd send me home because I was just waiting for my unit to get back. So I had $500 left to my name at this point, and I decided I was going to finally start this YouTube channel to go all in and build the brand. And at this point, I actually tried starting a YouTube channel on 2 separate occasions, and I would record a video, post it online. It would get criticism and hate. So I would delete the video, delete the channel, and quit on YouTube. I did that twice. The third time was when I got to Texas, units in Germany at the time, and I realized that if I didn't do something to turn this company around, it was going to die off. There was one more chance for me to take. So I had $500 left, spent that $500. I bought a Canon T3i camera, a 50 millimeter lens. I remember it didn't have autofocus. So like whenever I would film, I'd have to go set the focus on an object in the foreground, press record, go stand in front of the camera where that object was and record. And my content strategy at the time was just record everything. I would take it into the gym, record my workouts. I'd film what I was eating. I would film behind the scenes of the business. I would film videos when I finally got a platoon and started training, just talking about my military experience and what I was learning as a new officer. And I just filmed and created whatever I had availability to. And I fell in love with the process. I fell in love with documenting, with filming, with editing. And for those first couple of years, like when I was in the military, my responsibilities were low. You know, earlier you made the comment of having a risk profile based off of the season and chapter of life you're in. You know, back then, 2014, I was 24 years old. I wasn't in a relationship, no kids, limited responsibility. My only 2 responsibilities were my job in the military and building my business. Now, married, business, 2 young kids. I mean, my ability to take bigger risks now looks a whole lot different than it did then. There's a lot more to lose. But back then I had nothing to lose. I had all to gain. And the channel slowly started picking up traction. I mean, slowly. I was doing full day of eating videos, showing workouts, talking about the military. This is 2014, 2015, 2016. And for 3 years, literally 3 years, it was wake up early, start recording a video, and then drive into work to be at PT by 6 a.m., do PT, eat breakfast, spend the whole day at work. If we were in garrison, if we were in the field, obviously, you know, I was gone for a few days, a few weeks at a time. But we were in garrison. I leave work for the day, 5 p.m. I'd go straight to the gym with my camera. I'd film a workout at the gym. I'd come home, make a meal, film the meal, edit the video until 10, 11, 12 p.m., and then sleep for a few hours and do the same thing over again. And on the weekends, I would look forward to the weekends because all I'd have to do was film a video and build a business. So I'd wake up early. I'd go into Austin. I would document my training, different restaurants. I was collaborating with other fitness YouTubers in the Central Texas space. And there was this slow growth of YouTube. And as the slow growth of YouTube occurred for me, sales slowly started to climb, like very, very slowly. And the way that my business was set up then was I left all of my inventory in Pennsylvania at my parents' house. So there was this room above the garage in my parents' house where we had our shipping station set up and our few boxes of inventory. And my dad and my brother would ship orders back from Pennsylvania. And I mean, at the time, it was a couple orders every couple days. So they would pack an order, and then we didn't even, like, there wasn't enough volume to even have to go to the post office to drop them off. When the mailman would come around for the day, he would just pick up like 1 or 2 boxes and take them back and ship them out for us. So all operations, if you will, were being done back in Pennsylvania, and I was building the business down in Texas. And then in 2016, we ended up going to my unit, South Korea, for a 9-month rotation. And when we got to Korea, I didn't think I was going to be able to film or document anything. I didn't know what to expect going over to Korea for a 9-month rotation. But what I realized when I got there was that we were pretty much doing our same job as we were in Texas. However, this time I lived right next to my company headquarters. In Texas, I had a 30 to 40 minute drive to and from work every day. Now I'm living right next to company headquarters. The gym was really close. You know, typically if we weren't at gunnery or training, I was back in my barracks room by 5 p.m. every night. So I saw this as my opportunity to double down and go all in and building the business. And I knew that shortly after transitioning back to the States, I would be transitioning out of the military. My contract was up. So this is my moment to either make it or break it. And at that time, the business was doing $2,000 a month in revenue. My goal was that we would do $10,000 a month in revenue after the 9-month rotation. And within 90 days, we were doing $10,000 a month in revenue with the business. And I made a pact to myself that entire rotation in Korea, I wasn't going to watch any movies, no TV, no video games, no socializing. Every waking moment outside of my job as a platoon leader was going to be spent building the business. I formulated and developed new products when I was in Korea, relaunched the website on Shopify when we were in Korea. I mean, before that, we were just operating off of my friend's web hosting platform, and it linked to a PayPal checkout. So built the website on Shopify in Korea. Did a rebrand when I was in Korea in those first 90 days. I was writing handwritten thank you notes to everyone who placed an order in my barracks room at night. I put it in the mailbox the next morning, shipped those back to the States. And then I finally had one YouTube video take off. And it wasn't strategic. It wasn't planned. I literally just filmed a day in my life. And I wanted to make this video live. And I was like, what do I title this video? I thought about it for a second. I titled it A Day in the Life of an Infantry Platoon Leader, thinking nothing of it. And this was timed up so perfectly because after I launched this video, and I've launched at this point hundreds of videos leading up to this moment, I made the video live, and then we went to gunnery for 30 days out in the field. So I had limited access to my phone, no access to my computer. And I remember we're at gunnery a few days after I launched this video and got access to my phone, refreshed it. And I saw this video had like 100,000 views, which was unheard of for any video on my channel. A few days later, refresh, 400,000 views. A few days later, refresh, 800,000 views. This video went to 1 million views within the first 30 days, I believe. And my YouTube subscribers went from 30,000 to 80,000. And this felt like I was just like, I hit the lottery. You know, it didn't immediately affect the business growth or sales. We saw more traffic to the website, but nothing really overnight. But this one video provided me just the confidence to keep going. Because up until that point, I'm making videos 2-3 years consistently, 3-4 videos uploaded on YouTube a week with this slow growth, very, very slow growth. but I never experienced something like this. And that became a catalyst to this next chapter of me transitioning back from South Korea to the States, transitioning out of the Army, signing a lease for our first warehouse, my brother moving down from Pennsylvania to Texas, joining me in the journey. And that following year, 2017, doing our first 7 figures in revenue.